Hi everyone, welcome back to the Echowood. Somewhere along the way, I think a lot of us stopped making art for fun, and now every sketch has to become content. Every hobby has to become a side hustle, and every drawing has to be good. And honestly, that's kind of ruining creativity for people. So today, I want to talk about why making ugly art might actually be one of the healthiest things that you can do for your brain, your confidence, and your creativity. Because lately, I've been trying something pretty revolutionary, making terrible art on purpose. And weirdly, I've never felt more creative. So if you've been feeling burnt out, creatively blocked, overly perfectionistic, or like your sketchbook has somehow become performative, then this video is for you. We're going to talk about why ugly art is secretly healing, especially to your inner child, why perfectionism is making creativity absolutely miserable, and how learning to create badly again honestly made me enjoy art so much more. I used to think that the entire point of making art was to make something really good. Not fun, not weird, not expressive, good. Like impressive enough that someone online might validate my superb talent with a little heart shaped notification. And if the drawing wasn't good, well, then clearly I am a waste of space and human potential, she said with heavy sarcasm. I think a lot of us accidentally learned that our creativity only mattered if it was productive, aesthetic, or worthy of being shown to other people. Somewhere between social media, hustle culture, and watching impossibly talented artists online, I started treating my art less like a playground and more like a stressful performance review. Everything suddenly felt like proof that I was either improving or failing. And the weirdest part is that the pressure didn't make me create more, it made me avoid creating altogether. Because if every drawing has to be audience worthy, emotionally profound, worthy of becoming a print, a reel, a sticker set, something to be consumed by the world, your brain starts to associate art with pressure instead of being playful. I also realized that I had become deeply afraid of making bad art, like genuinely uncomfortable with it. If something looked awkward or unfinished or weird, I immediately wanted to hide it, delete it, start over, or fix it, which is probably why I start so many new canvases on my iPad and never finish them. And that's kind of sad when you think about it. Children make the most bizarre drawings with complete confidence. A 5-year-old will hand you a terrifying mess of shapes and proudly explain that, hey, this is my family portrait. Meanwhile, adults are having a complete identity crisis because their watercolor painting isn't making them famous. And I think when we become overly obsessed with making good art, we slowly lose the ability to experiment. We stop playing, we stop surprising ourselves, we stop making things just because they're funny or comforting. Creativity becomes something we try to control instead of something that we experience. And honestly, that mindset made me feel more disconnected from art than ever before. So at some point, maybe completely out of creative exhaustion, I started making intentionally bad art. Art that looked like I tried to draw with my non dominant hand. Crooked houses, weird animals that don't exist, lopsided flowers, the kind of drawings that would absolutely not survive a comment section. And surprisingly, it felt really great because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I wasn't thinking about engagement or whether something was on brand or if I could post it on social media later. I was just making silly things because they made me laugh or because it was just the first thing that popped into my brain. And I realized that creativity feels completely different when there's no pressure attached to it. Your brain gets quieter, you stop overanalyzing every line, you start following curiosity instead of anxiety. I also noticed that ugly art made me a little less afraid in general, because when you willingly let yourself create something imperfect, your nervous system slowly realizes that nothing catastrophic actually happens. The world does not collapse. You survive. In fact, you usually end up having more fun. I think bad art reconnects us with play. And honestly, in a very serious world, sometimes we desperately need something that isn't quite so serious. Everything now feels optimized and monetized and measured. Even hobbies somehow come with productivity expectations attached to them. I've been getting into embroidery in my own life, and suddenly the algorithm is like, great, here are 14 videos about turning that into a 6-figure passive income stream. And that's honestly become a huge part of what I care about, creating now tools and resources that make creativity feel less intimidating. That's why over on my Patreon, I share things like clip art packs, Procreate brushes, printables, and my Echowood Kickstart course. I want people to feel inspired to create without feeling like they need to already be amazing at it. And you don't need to have this like life-changing transformation, because creativity, it shouldn't feel like a test that you have to pass before you're allowed to enjoy it. So maybe the goal isn't to become the most impressive artist in the room. Maybe the goal is just to become someone who feels safe creating again. Someone who doodles dogs while drinking coffee. Someone who creates badly on purpose. Someone who remembers that creativity is allowed to be playful and imperfect and deeply human. I genuinely think that making ugly art helped me reconnect with parts of myself that perfectionism was slowly suffocating. It reminded me that joy matters, curiosity, whimsy. Slowing down to make a goofy drawing that nobody ever sees is not a waste of time. Tiny acts of creativity can make life feel softer, more personal, more alive. So if you've been waiting until you're good enough to create something, this is your sign to make the weird drawing. Use the fancy sketchbook that you paid too much for. Draw the lopsided face. Fill pages with messy ideas. Whether or not you're just starting out, let yourself be a beginner again. Your creativity does not exist to earn worthiness. You were already worthy before you picked up the Apple Pencil. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.